Alright, so last night I watched this video on Anarcyball's channel. I think it was titled, "Watch this video and it will change your life," or "This video will change your life." It was about an hour and 25 minutes long. It's a bunch of different clips from different things. A lot of it was the same guy, and I'd take a big portion of videos he had done where he had said some things outlaying why he believes what he believes and stuff, and then there was a little clip from that guy T and a couple other things. But the main reason I think you should watch this video is because I think it will make you think, whether you agree with it or not. The guy is thinking outside of the box. He's expressing exactly how he sees things, and maybe it will make you consider perspectives you've never thought of before, and whether you agree with them or not, at least you'll strengthen anything you do believe that opposes him by thinking it through and why you accept it and why you don't accept what he has to say. Or maybe it will make you pull a 180 on your views. The point is, it's likely to be ideas you're not exposed to very often, and if you have been exposed to them, I don't know that maybe you haven't been exposed to them in a manner that's this clearly laid out. So I definitely think it'd be worth your time to look into that. I'm not going to say that you'll agree with everything you say and see or everything, but just it'll get the gears in your head going. So anarcho-capitalists, man, like, my two things that come to mind right after seeing this video is, one, how do you ever get into a situation where you could try to attempt this philosophy? Because pretty much every place in the world has an established government. And like back in the day, people would have revolutions, but back in the day, it'd be like swords against swords and arrows against arrows, and then muskets against muskets and machine guns against machine guns. Now it's like the government has been spending billions and billions and billions and billions on defense. And they have all these insane high-tech weapons. So even if like 300 million of us rose up, they could still win. Like, it used to be that numbers could win, but they literally have the kind of technology where they could destroy us even if we attacked in mass. So I definitely think if you wanted to start a revolution, it couldn't be a violent revolution. You'd have to spread ideas, and you'd have to have people that had access to these advanced weapons being on your side, seeing things the way you do. You couldn't just have all the disgruntled people rise up because there's too much power now. There's too much ability to destroy. It's craziness. And even if you won, there'd be such a ridiculous loss of life toll. It'd be craziness. So if there would be a way to mentally just change minds, to be smart about it, to somehow get like a paradigm shift or something, that'd be much more preferable. And then my second thing is, I agree with all the stuff they talk about us having a kind of like a big bully stealing our lunch money every day, so to speak. But I'd like to use the analogy of like a mobster that goes and forces the business to pay it a fee to protect it. And say they're in a horrible, horrible neighborhood, and there's just evil everywhere in the neighborhood, and there's wicked, dangerous, horrible people everywhere. And say that the merchants are just regular, everyday, average Joes. They're not big and strong. They aren't advanced fighters. They don't have any weapons. They've been focusing all their time and energy on perfecting their crafts, on taking care of their families, on everything in life that matters to them. But they're in this sea of violent thugs, big, strong people, been fighting their whole lives, know how to fight with dangerous weapons, with no scruples. They'll just kill whenever it suits their fancy. So they get this biggest, hugest, most powerful, dangerous mob boss to protect them, and it sucks because he extorts them and they're paying him. But at least they're still alive. At least they still get to spend time with their family and do their business, and they're still going forward a little bit. They're going forward way, way less than if they were free and on their own. But because of the dangerous place they're at, they'd be making even less if they weren't getting extorted and protected. Like, instead of barely going forward, they'd actually be getting robbed and maybe killed, but they'd definitely be getting more stolen from them than what their expenses and stuff pay. So right now, they're barely going up, and it sucks, and they hate every time that they see the mob boss come to collect. It's an unpleasant relationship. They don't like it. But this mob boss is so powerful that all the other thugs and wicked people that would have no hesitation going in to kill and extort and steal stay away. So they only have one worry. It's a worry they're familiar with. They know he's going to take a big percentage, but that they'll still have a little bit left for them. And it's the best scenario they can think of right now. And that's what I think would be a more accurate assessment of where we are right now. We know we're getting taxed super hard. We know that our taxes are going to a lot of things we don't want to support, and that there's a lot of government waste and there's no accountability. None of that's a secret to us. But we still kind of have like this weird like freedom slavery hybrid thing going on, because we have no choice on paying taxes, and we have to follow a bunch of dumb laws whether they make sense or not. We understand that we're somewhat in chains, but it's like really long chains that give us the ability to somewhat create our destiny. Like, I don't have to be a scientist or a construction worker or an engineer or anything. I have freedom to choose of everything that's available. Like right now I'm working at some random restaurant and I'm running a kung fu school, and those were my choices. Like, hopefully my kung fu school will do good enough down the road that all my time and energy will be here in a passion of mine. And we have freedoms of that nature here. Like, I can choose what I want to spend my money on. I can choose what kind of food I want to eat tonight. So there is a lot of freedom still. It's like, it's not 100% freedom, because there is a big tyrannical bully demanding money against our will. And if we don't pay, we will be thrown in a cage. That's all accurate. But you can see how there's worse things out there. And when you have a tyrannical government taking tons of money from everybody and then spending billions and billions and billions on weapons, the likelihood of anybody else with a tyrannical government spending billions on weapons coming over and taking over you is a lot lower. Whereas if we were a bunch of independent, free people who are getting things done, because that's how entrepreneur spirit works. I have no problem with the roads and all the other services. Having a small business, I know that when you need things done, you just find a way to have things done. You organize. And there's a lot of people in this country with entrepreneur spirit. That's why we've had such a successful economy all these years and been so industrious. So we would have roads, we would have all the services. I have no problem with that. That's just obvious. That's the way entrepreneurship works. We just wouldn't have the government meddling in it. But the protection thing, like, right now, there's all these kids motivated by the GI Bill and stuff, getting trained how to fight with advanced weapons and whatnot. And if we were just a bunch of free people living a life that made sense, I don't know that we'd be able to protect ourselves as well. We might have guns and stuff and stand our ground and do our best and be familiar with our place compared to the people coming in to invade, but they might just have advanced weapons because of the nature of the government extorting so much money from people and then over focusing on weapons, whereas we would have a more balanced approach to life, and so our weapons wouldn't be so one-sided. So I see more of the scenario with the mobster where you're picking the lesser of two evils so that you can at least somewhat embrace the things you love in life instead of having everything you love in life taken away. So I'm not saying that's right. I'm just throwing that out there as an idea for people to discuss. And I know my channel's ridiculously small, but I also know that bigger channels like That Guy T and Anarcyball come by here sometimes, so maybe they could share this video with some people or just somehow provoke people to come here in the comments and discuss stuff, because I think it could be some good discussions and we could learn from each other, because that's the only two things I was seeing right off the bat. Because like I've said before, it's a lot easier to see flaws in something than it is to create something better, to create a realistic alternative that would be pragmatic and actually accomplish what you want it to do. Because it's easy to have things in your imagination, but actually implementing things is a lot more challenging. So anyway, that's just some stuff I wanted to share after watching this video. And to those who haven't seen this video, I recommend watching it just to get the gears in your head going, because it's always good to be exposed to as many ideas and thoughts as possible and then just formulate your own conclusions based off what makes sense to you.